I'm going to show you now, just in case you're distracted through this whole video, what it says on my t-shirt. It's a Monkey Island quote. It's a comeback in insult sword fighting. Greetings and salutations folks, and welcome to my video. My name is Danny. I'm going to tell you about London Film and Comic Con 2017. I went on Friday and Saturday in July, and I'm going to probably first tell you what my experience was and what we did, and then any tips or things you should bring. So this was my first Comic Con. I've been to Collectomania and Milton Keynes 2 or 3 times, but this is a whole other scale. This is even bigger. I went with my friend Kevin, and on Friday morning I got the train to Kensington Olympia. This was at the London Olympia, the big posh building. That doesn't help. How many posh buildings are there in London? And my train got in at 21 minutes past 9, I think, because I was told that Friday was a lot less busy, and by about 10 past, quarter past, everybody will be in. So I thought I'd get there slightly after. And then I had a suitcase, so we went to the Hilton, which is where we were staying on the Friday night. I wanted to put my suitcase in because I think they usually have like a storage room for people that are doing this sort of thing. It turns out that our room was already ready, so we went to our room, put our stuff, make sure we were carrying exactly what we wanted to bring into the convention. And we headed to the convention at about 9:45, I think. So it's about a 5-minute walk from this particular hotel. It was very close. It does seem a lot longer though after the convention. When you are aching, it hurts. The entrance is Gate H, which is like the opposite side to where the train station is. So you got to walk around the other side, and it wasn't especially organised too well because there was lots of confusion. Not from us, but I've read loads of things that went wrong this year. So it's better to be as prepared as you can. Make sure you know where you're going. So we went to Gate H, and by this point, sort of 10 to 10, somewhere between that and 10 o'clock, there was no queue. We saw like the tables in the first big hall, which is sort of looks like a warehouse. It's just like an empty room. And then to the right of us, I don't know if this is mirrored, sorry. Sort of to the right of us, once we got in there, is where the Diamond Pass pickup was. And I have a Stephen Yeun Diamond Pass. I don't know if these will look the same in future conventions. I don't know if it'll be the same. Again, I might be saying things that it won't be like next year, but I'll just tell you how it was for us. They gave us an envelope. It had just this part on, but you had to remember to pick this part. So do not forget to pick these up from the pile, because we walked away, but luckily we hadn't walked too far away that we had to sort of, oh god, we got to go get this. And the Diamond Pass also came with a poster. I was going to get this signed, but I decided to get something else signed. Something else signed, that sounds a bit dodgy now. You'll see. And the actual pass, when you buy it, I don't think you can buy it on the day. Or you may be able to, I suppose, if they haven't sold out. But there was only one sales desk that I saw. The queues were huge, even on the Friday. My God. If you want a pass or anything booked in advance, do it in advance. Don't get there and then expect to book it for the next day, because you will be spending so much time waiting. But there's, what it said A here and P here. They haven't punched the hole exactly right, but that's fine. You choose what day you want your photo shoot on. So you have to check the schedule, make sure you first of all, make sure you're actually at the convention on the day. Make sure that you will be able to get to the photo shoot on the day you choose. But you can have your autograph on any of the days that you're there. And the good thing about Diamond Pass is it guarantees that you get them, because you might actually not get in the queue because it can be so busy. And Kevin had a Richard Dean Anderson one. I surprised him. He didn't know, and it was great. I'll link you at the end of this to the video of the actual convention, so you can see his reaction. You can see us meeting a lot of the people. A lot of the people we were allowed to film, so go watch that after this, if you haven't already. And if you have, you can watch it again, that's fine. So after we picked up our passes, slightly further on, it's the security check, so I just sort of opened my bag really, and she just sort of went like that, alright. I was like, oh, there are like loads of pockets if you need to check in there, and she just sort of went like that on the bag. I was like, okay. If I had something explosive, you wouldn't have found it. You didn't look at all. But that's fine. It meant it was quicker. I don't have a bomb. I have no intention of hurting anyone. So once we got in, oh, sorry. Just after the bag check is like a person standing there doing the tickets. This part was Slightly more busy because it's sort of bottlenecked in a bit. There were only 2 people checking the tickets, I think. This is on Friday. Oh! Thank you, if you blessed me. So we had our tickets checked, shoved the paper back in the bag. You can also use your phone. There's an Eventbrite app on your phone, so you can just show them that. The only thing about that is it doesn't show you batch numbers if you're getting photo shoots. It just shows you that, so you've no idea what it is. So it's worth printing out any tickets you've bought in advance. And also your phone could randomly die, so that would be awful. So the first thing we had was my Stephen Yeun photo shoot, first thing in the morning. Oh my good God. I started to get a bit nervous at this point. We were heading there. We were lost. We'd never been there before. The signage wasn't great. And obviously there were a lot of volunteers there, but some of which were completely new. And sorry, I'm tying my shorts. A lot of the volunteers were new, so they didn't really know where to go either. We eventually found our way, but we weren't late. It was all right. And I had a diamond pass, so I didn't feel like, oh God, I'm going to miss it. It was in where the main stage is, but it was sort of around the edge, and mine was in C, which was sort of D here. It's really close together. On the Saturday, it was manic in that room. That we were like, what, fish in a tin or something. But this Friday was a little bit calmer. There was sort of, you were able to go and sit down without people killing you. And I was queuing for my photo with Stephen Yeun, Glenn in The Walking Dead. You know who it is, but, you know. And I started to get really anxious. I mean, everybody else in the queue was sort of, there were a couple of people who were a bit agitated and slightly sort of like, oh, let's breathe. But I was absolutely shaking. I was like really trying to breathe properly because this was such a big deal to me. It was my first photo shoot as well. I had no idea what to expect, except what people had told me, which was you go in, he puts your arm around you, go. Next person, next person. It's really, really quick. It's like cattle. You're in, you're stunned, then you're dead. But nicer than that. And then once you snake around, the queue isn't like a proper queue. There's some tape on the floor. I don't know how we're supposed to see that when we're all like this. But don't feel scared to ask other people in the queue, like, are you in the queue? Or who's this for, this photo shoot? Because people are really nice, mostly. And then once I got to the front of the queue and I could see him, is when I broke. I absolutely broke. I lost function. Beforehand, I was practicing, how am I going to stand? How am I going to pose? What am I going to say? Because you've got a couple of seconds. You need to say, if you've got a pose that you want to do with somebody, you need to say straight away, you need to hurry up. But I broke. I just lost function. And once I was really close to the front, I started to cry. Not like blubbing, but sort of like, I can't keep it together. I'm just... Everyone around me was really lovely, by the way. Everyone else in the queue sort of just trying to keep me calm and saying it'll be alright. You know, he's really nice. I've met him before, that sort of thing. And he was really nice. I'm going to take it out of the... When you get a photo shoot, you need to make sure to pick one of these up as well. This is just a protective thing. And they don't put it in this, so you have to pick it up. And you can see the emotion on my face. I had this lovely, nice pose sorted. Everybody was one arm around, and I was at the front, and I broke, and I went up to him, and I was like, and I was crying, and he was like, oh, I don't know what he said, because I was just a mess, but he gave me a proper cuddle instead of just a quick arm around, and I was just like, oh. And I showed people later on, and everyone was like, saying how good it was, and someone said, it's like the biggest smile he's seen in all the photos of the convention. And then I showed my mum, and she doesn't know who he is, so she googled and said that it is like the best picture, the best smile that she's seen in the pictures as well. So even though I look sort of, I've turned into a frog and I'm crying and blushing and a mess, it really shows how I felt. And so if you're anxious, just fine, just let yourself remember to breathe. Sorry, you need to breathe. Sometimes you can forget because that's how it feels when you're meeting somebody you absolutely love so much. And it was just before this photo shoot, when we had no idea what we were doing, there was a really nice lady that we went up to, and just like another visitor, not a person that works there, because we had no idea what we were doing. Where do we queue? Where are we going? She was talking to us, and she was super nice, and afterwards she came over, how did it go? And I showed her, it's like, look. And we bumped into her a few times, and it turns out she was staying at the same hotel. So when we went to the bar later on, I promise I'm not stalking you, she said. And I saw that, please excuse me for butchering the name, Mikkelsen, or Mikkelsen. Hang on, yeah. It's either Mars Mikkelsen or Maz Mikkelsen. Sorry, you know who I'm talking about. The bloke who was Hannibal. He was in Doctor Strange. He was in Casino Royale. He was a baddie in a James Bond. But I know him from Hannibal. I love that show. And I brought my Funko and I folded it flat. I took the insides out and I folded it up. So I put it in the folder so that it wasn't taking up space in my bag, which you should do. It's a good idea. I saw that his queue wasn't huge and I went up and I said, do we need a virtual queue ticket? Because you need to get a ticket to say, like, pretty much come back later, you'll have a number on it. But he said, and we started to queue, we were like, we have no idea what we're doing. And the bloke was still standing there holding these tickets and we were a bit shy, like, what the hell are we doing? And eventually we went up and we were like, do we get the ticket from you? And he's like, no, you just go in. And we were like, oh my God, what? So we were in the queue and there were only a few people like in front ready to meet this person that I've just been watching in this TV show. What? Who is very handsome as well. He's as good looking in real life as you think he's going to be. Once I was at the front, right, I'm always anxious, whoever I'm going to meet, whatever level of admiration I have for them. And the lady in front had a Funko for Doctor Strange, I think, and she had that signed. And then it was me, and he sort of got it, and he started to sign it. He didn't look up at me straight away, which made me a bit nervous. I was like, oh. I didn't have anything to say. I didn't have anything witty to say. So he signed my Funko for me. The only problem, it's not a problem, okay? It's not a problem. On the side here, he's written the name of his Doctor Strange character. So I don't think he realised which Funko he was signing. But it doesn't matter because this isn't something I got signed to sell. I wanted it personalised just to keep. So that's alright. But at the end then, he looked up at me and was sort of... It made everything, all the stress go away when he smiled at me. I'll show you the screenshot now. That smile just melts you. It's so lovely. And I got to shake his hand. So that was probably the interaction that I had, the person that I had the least interaction with. So if people say, which was your worst? No, sorry, I do have one that I didn't enjoy. I will tell you that later. But that was the quickest in terms of signing something and moving on. So we had a little bit of time before I had a photo shoot booked. And one of the people I really wanted to meet was John Carroll Lynch, who is Twisty in American Horror Story. And he's also in an episode of The Walking Dead. He was Eastman, Tabitha the Goat, the bloke that taught Morgan to be a pacifist. And he was so lovely. He spoke to me properly. He was properly looking up at me. He was signing quite slowly and he was looking at me and talking to me. And it was obvious he was listening to what I was saying as well. It was really lovely. You need to go and watch the footage if you haven't seen that already after this video. And at the end of that as well, because not a lot of them take pictures at the actual desk. Some of them say no photographs, which means you are not allowed to take a picture of them at all. If you're standing in the queue, do not take a picture of them. There might be other reasons they're not allowed to. It might just be because they want to sell photo shoots, but just don't. You should respect their wishes. It might say no posed photographs, which means while you're waiting, you can take pictures of them. The footage I got was of people that said no posed photographs. So Kevin was holding the camera while I was getting the autograph done and talking to them. So he was at the side. It means you're not holding up the queue by saying, right, can I have a picture now? You know, if you're doing it sort of at the same time, that's fine. Some of them actually do. I saw like Daniel Portman, who I wanted to meet but I didn't get time to, taking some pictures with like people, or at least one I saw. And I said, like, can I take a picture with you? Because I don't think he had a sign up. And he was perfect. He was really happy to, it looked like. And he took the phone, and because he's got long arms, and we took the picture properly. And he took a few, and then he said afterwards, check it and make sure you're happy with it. And he's like, he was so patient and lovely, and he's so cool, and I wish people knew how awesome he is. He's been in so many things. If you get a chance to meet him, do. If you've seen him in anything at all, go and get his autograph, because he's lovely. And I think it was after that I then had a Christian Nairn photo shoot, who is Hodor in Game of Thrones. So I went to queue up for the photo shoot, got into the inside section. There's another queue inside, but a short one. And I saw him, and I didn't break like I did with Stephen. I was just like trying to breathe. And I was like, right, I want a nice picture. I saw everyone. He was sort of sitting on a stool or leaning on a stool, and he was coming in. He was taking really pleasant photos, putting his arm around people. And I went to him once it was my turn. Can you hold me? Like, put your arms around me or something. He was like, yeah. And I sort of stood in front of him, and he put his arms around me. I think that's really nice. That's a genuinely nice photo, isn't it? And I liked it so much. I mean, I wanted his autograph anyway, but I liked it so much that I went later in the day to get an autograph as well. And when I got to the front, by the time I'd got to the front and I was paying and I was choosing the photo, the person before me had left. So it was like my turn to talk to him, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know which one to choose. I said to him, which one's your favourite? And he said, I quite like this one. And I was like, well, I don't know. And I said, I'm going to have to choose the really upsetting one just because. But he was really, really lovely. It's amazing how these people, not all of them, but most of these people maintain their enthusiasm when so many people are talking to them and probably saying the same thing over and over again, asking them to say certain quotes. It's a job, but it feels really nice that they're actually there to see you and they're taking the time to talk to you. It's really nice. Now, I was going to take a little gold backpack with me just to have a bottle of water and something to eat in it, but I thought I'm probably going to get autographs and photos. I don't want them to get damaged, so I brought this folder which has, that's the floor plan, like the things to put in, and I'm really glad I did. We filled up half of this with both of us, and it meant I could fit it in my backpack, and it wouldn't have fit in the little one, so I recommend you do that. You can buy sort of protective things, but you might as well just bring a folder. And also, he had a Richard Dean Anderson Diamond Pass, my friend Kevin, and the queue was the biggest one so far. It was pretty big on the Friday. It's mostly because he takes his time while signing, because he talks to people properly, so it moves quite slowly. So he showed his pass. The volunteer was quite flustered because there were so many people in the queue and trying to get in the queue, and she was like, right, diamond passes. No, she was nice though, not sounding like this. Get here, and when I tell you, you can go in the queue. So we were standing there for a while. I just wanted to talk to Kevin, and I wasn't in the queue. And then when he got in the queue, and it was very slowly moving forward. We were in the queue total about an hour, I think. And I decided, because I was shuffling along the queue about a couple of metres away, just so that I could talk to Kevin while he was waiting. And I went up to her and I said, can I, like, shake his hand? Can I, like, join the queue with my friend so that I could shake his hand? And she said, like, yes, but just ask the person up at the front. I don't know if she meant, like, if he's happy with being touched or something, or I don't know. But I joined Kevin, and I was like, actually, I'm going to get an autograph as well. And we were waiting there for ages, and the more I saw, the more I said, I think I'll regret it if I don't get an autograph. I did used to watch Stargate when it came out, but I haven't watched it in quite a long time. But I did think, this is somebody that is a big deal. He's a big deal to several generations. But to Kevin, it's major. Oh my goodness. Right, so eventually to the front. Kevin went first, but this was my autograph. And I'll tell you, he was absolutely lovely. Kevin was talking to him for ages. You will see it in the other video. But it's good. Not like, oh, boring. It's really fascinating. He's asking him for advice because he wants to do all sorts of things. And he was genuinely trying to advise him best he can. And I'll tell you, right, Saturday, Kevin had his photo shoot with Richard Dean Anderson first thing in the morning. I'll tell you properly about this in a minute. Actually, this video is getting really long, so I'm going to have to cut it into 2 parts. I will tell you in the next one. I will start talking straight away so you know what happened with Richard Dean Anderson. You need to know.